She told me that phrase that you never want to hear. Sir, your card was declined. Oh, now you know about the struggle. No, I've been there. My card got declined on the way here. I'm lucky I had gas. I may not get home. My heart sank because here I am with my family. I drove into a parking spot. My wife's sitting in the passenger seat next to me. My daughter, Micaiah, who at the time is 8 years old, sitting right behind her. And my youngest daughter, Anaya, who's barely over 2 years old, sitting behind her. And I'm sitting there just speechless. I don't even know what to say. And my wife and my daughters are looking at me confused. My wife says, what are you doing? We need to eat. We've been here, we just drove 6 hours. The kids are starving. I turned to her and all I could say was, we have no money. And that's when my wife started to panic. Well, what do you mean we have no money? You told us we'd be okay. You told us you'd take care of us. You said everything would work out. I don't know what happened. See, class of 2016, you may not have kids, you may not be married, but you know what it feels like to be insecure. To not be sure of how you're going to get from where you're at to where you want to be. Maybe you even know what it's like to not be sure where your next meal will come from. In that moment, I was at the lowest point I had ever been in my life. Because as a husband, as a father, as a man, I have one job: provide for my family, protect my family, give them security. But in this moment, I failing to do all of that. But I learned a powerful lesson in that moment. Like Harold Crick, I realized that I wasn't in control of my own life. And I made a decision that I wasn't going to continue living this way. See, I grew up poor. I mean, poor where your parents can't afford to buy you swim shorts, so your mom takes your old jeans and she cuts them into swim shorts, but she doesn't cut them straight, so it's like one down here and one up here. It's like swim shorts from this side, Speedo from this side. Statistically, the narrative that had been written for me was that because my parents weren't highly educated, because my parents didn't make a lot of money, I would grow up to repeat that same cycle. Because I grew up in poverty, my kids will grow up in poverty. But I made a decision, the same decision you can make, that I was going to rewrite my story. But here's the truth about success. Even when you decide, everything doesn't just change. For the next couple years, I still struggled. I had to fight, I had to grind, I had to hustle. I worked 2 jobs, one of which was as a janitor. I still had this dream inside of me. And I'm going to share 2 success principles with you that if you apply, will make you successful. I worked as a janitor, and I'm in this warehouse, 20,000 square foot warehouse, and I'm responsible for scrubbing toilets, cleaning stuff out of toilets. I mean, I'm stuck on the toilets because do you know what people put in toilets? Some of you know because you did it. The janitorial staff everywhere hates you. That doesn't go there. That's what I was doing day in and day out. But I still had this dream inside of me because I wanted to change lives. I wanted to speak. I wanted to have an impact and live a life that would leave a legacy. But how can I do that when I'm working as a janitor, when I scrub toilets for a living? I was in the middle of the struggle. There were some months when I couldn't pay rent. Weeks where we would buy groceries with $20. One month where we had to sell the family car just to pay rent. Our car broke down. For 6 months, I had to borrow a car. Then that car broke down. I'm like, come on. But because I had that dream, I held on to it. I went back to my job as a janitor. I found a dusty corner. I picked up this old desk. I flipped it over. I cleaned it off. I'm the janitor. I got supplies. I cleaned it off. I propped up the leg. I took an old broken laptop that someone had given me. And every day I would sit at that desk and I would write. I would pour my heart out. Because I realized, success principle number 1, that where you are doesn't determine who you are.